decided I would share with you an email I received just a few days ago with trips on my calendar and here and everything. And a woman from the UK wrote me, who's a member of the Image Association there. And she learned I was one of the CIM, Certified Image Masters of AICI. Her name is Margot, and she sent me questions that she wanted me to answer having to do with the publication she wanted to write. And I thought, seeing as Mr. Agarwal has asked me to tell a little bit of how the image industry started out and how we got together, that's exactly what she was wanting to know. So I thought I'd share these questions very quickly, and then my answers here. Her question, as I was a CIM and one of the first, she wanted to know why image consulting. And I said, well, image management consulting is a natural application of the physical, social, and psychological and artistic aspects of dress and grooming and body language, studied in my undergraduate years, then later taught at the university where I taught. It was just a wonderful, natural application. I told you I was planning on becoming a dancer. I went to the University of Utah, one of the few universities in America that had a degree program in dance. I was thrilled. My first semester, I stripped the tendons and ligaments away from my kneecap. End of career. But you know, I loved Utah. And I do know, by the way, those of you international students who come, and my own students who come to the Consell Institute, Utah, you're going where? For what? You're going to, where is Utah? Well, it's in Mountain America. But it's a wonderful place with sunshine all year round. Where I grew up in Washington State, 9 months of the year, it's cloudy gray skies, which were very hard on me. And in Utah, we get a big storm, and it's sunny, blue skies the next days. And I just rallied with that. So I wanted to stay. But to do so, I had to change my major. Well, in those olden days, what did ladies become? A teacher, a nurse, a secretary, right? I decided to become a teacher in the home arts. I've always loved the home arts. And so then it was called home economics. Now it's called consumer and family sciences. Trying to give a little more edginess to it. Anyway, I eventually specialized in clothing and textiles, and I've never been sorry. I actually ended up, my first job was teaching at the University of Utah, their visual design class. I loved it. After marrying and starting a family, lived in New Jersey, lived in Louisiana, was going to do a master's degree there. The only department they had it in was textiles. And I discovered very quickly textiles was not for me. All that machinery and mechanics, that's not where my heart was. I love the touch and the feel and the look of those fabrics. I didn't want to do the research, but I wanted to use the research. Because I'd learned so many years ago, as I said, clothing and appearance communicates. I'd learned, and I know, and what brings me here, keeps me here, why you're here, why this industry is here. The value of what we do, the fact that the way we look, the way we choose to present ourselves affects the way we think, the way we feel, the way we act, and only then, the way others react. And I see a few of you mouthing those words with me. Take them to heart. I want them in your head so they can come out of your mouth. When people ask you what we do and why, that's why, and there is value in what we do. Boy, that took too long, didn't it? And I'm only on question 1. Who inspired you, or what was your inspiration? Well, I've actually already answered that. It was the years of theater and dance taught me that clothing and image communicates. Number 3, how did I find out about the image industry and the image associations? Well, that was fun because that ties in with AICI and now the formation of this incredible new image management professional association. I was there at the very first image industry conference in 1980. Now, logically, we know the first image consultants were our moms, way back when. A few dads, yeah, got to give them credit. It was often the dad, literally on his dying bed, who'd say, "Son, never forget to look your best." Well, the world's forgotten that, and there's a need. Well, I was at that very first NIS. It was called the National Image Industry Seminar, NIIS, 1980, a conference sponsored by what was then called PIM of the Colwell Industries, a very big carpet company that knew they could dye the fabrics for the color analysis and so on. Now, attending every image industry conference since, I observed the growing pains of that fledgling industry. I was literally like the fly on the wall. I like to sit in the corner. Nobody pay attention to me. I want to watch. I want to see the interactions. I want to do the people watching. I want to see what they're wearing, how they're wearing it, figure out why they're wearing it, all that stuff. But I wanted to see the values, the attitudes, the standards, and so on. I wish I could remember a couple of the names. Like I say, if I write this down one of these days, I'll get back into it and get a couple of the names. There was, way back then, a would-be image consultant, a fellow, and he was just as they come, and he showed up at like the second image industry conference with this bevy of beauties. Must have been 20 or 30 women with him, and they were all up to here. And they were all just sauntering, and a lot of us, more serious, we think, is this where this industry's going? You know, I'm not going to belong here. But attending these conferences all of that time, in 1990, I overheard another attendee following one of the conference sessions say, "You know, I'm just figuring it out. There's a psychology to this. There's some sociology involved with this." And I'm going, yay! Finally, somebody's getting a brain. Maybe it's time to join. And I did. And that was the year AICI grew, developed, just like today. Only I got to tell you, this organization is starting from a very different place. I so appreciated your remarks this morning. And I want a copy on a DVD, okay? You promise? I'm taking that home. Okay, so the next question, what city and year did you attend that first conference? So it was in an eastern state. They wanted to know how many in attendance. Well, at those beginning, and this was before AICI, there were about 2,000 in attendance. I would tell you those numbers dwindled to about 250 more serious professionals attending that first 1990 conference. Wanted to know what I experienced, she said. And I said the very first NIST conferences brought together a stupefying mix of would-be consultants, each strutting their stuff and ogling each other in grand party atmosphere. It was people meeting people, a lot of surface banter, trying to make sense out of the nonsense and trying to decide who really belonged and who didn't. A fascinating thing to watch and wonder where it was going. My most memorable experience, she wanted to know, occurred in 1989, and I just shared that with you. There's a psychology to it. We work with the artistic, social, psychological, and physical aspects of image. That's an art and a science, and it's real. She asked me, do I have any idea how much you are admired by members and how many desire to be successful business owners like yourself. And the honest answer, on the whole, is no, not really. Unless you talk to all those people, you wouldn't know. I'm the quintessential outlier. Have you heard that name of that book before? Malcolm Gladwell. He wrote The Tipping Point and Blink, and then he wrote something called The Outlier. So there I am in Utah, not in New York City, not in Dallas, not in LA, the fashion capitals in America, not in Paris, Milan, in Utah. And as Malcolm Gladwell indicates, that quintessential outlier has to put in 10,000 hours to become the success. Well, I share with you, I put a lot more than 10,000 hours, way beyond that. But just having her bring that up, I wrote back that I feel that tremendous responsibility for any of those looking at myself as an example in the industry to create the materials you need to prepare you to be successful in what you are doing. I want that